Good afternoon. You join us at Stamford Bridge for the tie of this FA Cup third round. Chelsea against the best club in England at the moment, Newcastle United, the only all-Premiership tie of this round. And here to enjoy it with us, Jimmy Hill and Alan Hansen. Alan, what do you make of this game in prospect this afternoon?
Well, basically, I think it's going to be a cracker. Chelsea are going well. They've got some nice players, but it's Newcastle. Newcastle play open, attractive football, home and away. In fact, they play as open as any of the top sides have done in the last 20 years. But the problem is when you go away from home, you play open, is that if you don't compete or you've got 2 or 3 players off form, then you're in a bit of trouble. The thing that would concern me is their away form. The last 3 games they played in the Premiership, they've had 1 draw, 2 defeats. They get beaten here in the Premiership this season. They didn't compete that well. They went to Old Trafford, didn't compete that well. Today, if they don't compete, they'll be in trouble. But they've got the players that, if they play well, they can win the game.
Ferdinand was well policed in the league match here, wasn't he?
He didn't get much of a kick, but he didn't get much service either. They closed down quickly in the 2 wide players, Ginola and Gillespie. He doesn't play today, but that's what Chelsea will do. They'll defend and they'll get in quickly.
Jimmy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Chelsea have got so much at stake today in this particular game. There are 2 reasons why I think they might well do it. The fact is that their season wouldn't come to an end, but the excitement will go out of it if they lost this game today, because they aren't going to win the league. And they've got Hullet, who is waiting to come back into that side. And I think that
doesn't play today, which is it'd be a disappointment for the fans, won't it?
It is a great disappointment, and we're you know, I mean, for everyone. But nevertheless, I think if you're in the side like that and you've got so much at stake, you're wondering where Hullet, a player who can play many positions, can come back into the side, and you don't want to lose your place. So on that basis, there are psychological reasons why Chelsea have got to get to grips with this game and beat Newcastle. And Newcastle's temperament, I think, must be a little fragile today because of their away form, which Alan referred to. So it's an open game. Anybody can win it, but I'm going for Chelsea.
OK, we'll see what happens. Well, we've got a couple of results for you already in. Derby County have been beaten by Leeds United 2-4 at home. Extraordinary story. Derby had a man sent off. Then they went 2 up through Gabbiadini and Simpson. Then Leeds United equalised Speed and Dean, and they got 2 goals right at the end, Gary McAllister and Yeboah. So Leeds are into the 4th round draw, which incidentally we've got live for you right after this match here. And Southampton earlier went through 3-0 against Portsmouth. Jim Magilton got 2 and Neil Shipley got the 3rd. And of course Everton plays Stockport later. Those goals from those 2 matches, we hope to show you those a little later on too. But it's goals here we're looking for at Stamford Bridge, of course. So it's time to join our commentary team now, Trevor Brooking and Barry Davis.
Well, on the point of psychology, what about the fact that Chelsea are able to put out precisely the same team which beat Newcastle 1-0 in the league here on December the 9th, when the 1 goal was scored by Petrescu. I suppose Glenn Hoddle has won 3 out of 4. He's lost Hullet, but Hughes is back from suspension. Phelan is back for fitness, and Spencer, who had a touch of tendinitis at Queen's Park Rangers on Tuesday, is fit as well.
Yes, I think Glenn Hoddle's decided, well, these lads have done it once, why not again? And he's gone with 2 up front, Furlong and Hughes. Generally he plays with just the 1. Spencer behind them, and I think the 2 wide men in midfield there, Phelan and Petrescu, very important they get forward and get the crosses in for those 2 up front if they're going to be successful.
Newcastle, though, do have changes in their team compared with the league match. Elliott and Albert are now first choices, as is Paul Kitson, who's taken over from the injured Keith Gillespie.
Well, after the poor Old Trafford performance against Manchester United, they followed the home game against Arsenal by going 3 central defenders. Albert, good to see him back playing, getting back to full fitness. And then, of course, quite a lively midfield. That Lee, Beardsley, Ginola all going forward. And now Kitson up front with Ferdinand. It looks full of goals if they can get those men forward.
Well, you can hear supporters from both sides in good voice. 2 young mascots have done their bit, Ben Marshall and Max Bacon. Will lightning strike twice? Or will Newcastle, beaten just 3 times in the season, have their day? Man in charge comes from Barnsley, Steve Lodge, Jeffrey Pettit and Mark Stobbart are his 2 linesmen. It's quite a mild afternoon in West London. Pitch nice and soft. but not too soft. First challenge involving Kitson and Phelan. Spencer, not given the time. Kitson certainly putting himself about. First shot is from Mark Hughes. And on the day after 12th night, who, however, temporarily would achieve greatness or have greatness thrust upon them. They go on by Ferdinand to Kitson. Barton. Two old Wimbledon friends there in the challenge. Phelan and Barton both played there. And just a statistic which might catch the ear of Jimmy Hill. I've been told that the last time that Newcastle won an FA Cup tie in the capital was season 55-56, when Newcastle were the holders of the FA Cup. Jimmy Hill scored in the match, but his side Fulham were beaten 5-4.
Was that the last goal Jimmy scored, actually?
It's a long time ago, isn't it, Trevor? We don't remember that, do we? Newcastle's free kick. Albert, the Belgian, who is making his FA Cup debut, will take it. And the free kick is now the other way against Ferdinand, who has Kitson for nearer company than Ginola in this opening. Ferdinand comes to collect it again. Peter Beardsley, and here's the Frenchman, who's also making his FA Cup debut. Had perhaps his most disappointing game here in the league match. Possibly holds the key. The Newcastle circus has come to town, but to quote Kevin Keegan, have the Tigers and Lions come with them this time. It's a good challenge by Myers. Oh, and he was onside too Furlong, but his touch wasn't great, to put it mildly.
Well, that was a good chance. It was interesting, the actual Newcastle move broke down with Darren Peacock on the right wing. It was intercepted, and I mentioned about the three central defenders, sort of Peacock and Howie and Albert taking it in turns getting forward. He was out of position, and actually Furlong made an excellent run along the line, but when it went through to me, his first touch was so heavy it knocked it towards the corner flag. If he'd have just been able to knock it and actually have a clear run at goal, who knows?
Beardsley, but Lee, Peacock, Pavel Sanicek, hoping for better fortune than in the league game. The first time he touched the ball, he was picking it out of the net, having just come on as a substitute for the injured Shaka Hislop. He's kept his place ever since, and Newcastle do not have a goalkeeper among their substitutes. I'll just give you the substitutes for Chelsea: Steve Clarke, Gavin Peacock and Kevin Hitchcock, their number 2 goalkeeper. For Newcastle, John Beresford, Lee Clark and Steve Watson. Ginola, Elliott, Newton, goal side of the Frenchman, and the Frenchman pushing. I'm not sure that Newton didn't hold him up. That's certainly the view of Ginola. Ginola, who always warms up and wears a short sleeve shirt in the first half and a long sleeve one usually in the second, but there's no superstition about it. It's just something he does. Well, he's French, isn't he?
Had a little tangle with Eddie Newton just now, and I think Eddie Newton is going to be very important at Chelsea. He just sort of sits in front of that central defensive trio and tries to fill up the players running from midfield. And when you look at Beardsley, certainly Ginola in particular, and then Robert Lee, who do more of a holding job, he's the one who's got to pick which one of those three are joining Kitson and Ferdinand.
space-wise. There's Newton. Fescue has made the move to the right. Well, not the best piece of play by two Newcastle players, Peacock and Cernicek. Free kick is given for that challenge by Beardsley. Came off Peacock's shin and became a back pass, which wasn't cleared too well. And Beardsley conceding the free kick. Wise on the ball. Nicely floated up, Cernicek though, comfortable play. The two big men went in there, Furlong and Dewberry. Cernicek only had eyes for the ball. Kitson. Gold getting himself involved, Paul Kitson. He's got a real chance while Gillespie is out to make a bit of a name for himself. Solid challenge there by Lee. Peacock has had a little check. Didn't clear it that well again. The visitors a deal sharper in the tackle than they were in the league match.
Well, they are. That was the second Peter Beardsley tackle that brought a Chelsea player down. Now, whether it's because it's Peter Beardsley, I don't know, but I've seen just one of those tackles being booked this year in many Premiership games, a yellow card, and now we've had two tackles of similar ferocity, shall we say, and Peter Beardsley looks as if he's going to get away with it with just a warning.
But clearly that Steve Lodge is making a point of both captains who were involved in the incident, and also something about setting example perhaps. But Beardsley will know just how much Chelsea were allowed to play in the first game. Ball's out. It's a corner.
There's been 2 or 3 high crosses in the last 2 or 3 minutes, which Newcastle haven't dealt with, and of course a recent league game against Wimbledon, they were exposed quite badly there. So I think it's going to be important for Cernicek to try and come out and deal with those crosses, otherwise Chelsea will pursue that avenue.
Yes, he actually doesn't do that as well as Hislop, does he? Hislop much more confident in coming off his line. Cernicek a really good shot stopper. Couldn't get the flick on then, Dewberry. One up by Spencer, who often belies his lack of height. Here's Dimitri Karim. David Lee. One of the Chelsea successes this season, David Lee. And the determination though of Beardsley. He really is setting right example. And he finds Ferdinand, and they've got a man over.
Chelsea might have thought with Lee, Beardsley and Ginola there that Newcastle hadn't got a ball winner in the midfield. Peter Beardsley's 3 tackles, I think, certainly dispelled that idea.
And that was certainly the case in the league match, which was on match of the day. And Chelsea ran the first half, and Newcastle only improved marginally in the second. Determination not lacking in this opening today. Out by Newton. Barton is the back player. Kitson, appeal for handball, but only from the crowd. Beardsley. Beardsley and Wise arm in arm. And the free kick is given against Wise. But those two shook hands at the toss and have been linking arms ever since. Peacock to make the first run, goes back again. Says Elliott took too long. Tiger is challenged by Wise. Oh, the FA Cup matters. Ginola. Good challenge by Howie.
Central defenders staying up there, certainly Newcastle not sitting back when there's a chance to get one of those 3 central defenders forward, they are doing so.
There's the Romanian. Useful, Wise to Furlong. Took it better that time. Changed his mind about 6 times. But he got a shot in. Not the power and not the accuracy.
Looks a bit ungainly at times on the floor. There, he had no support, and that's one of my criticisms with Chelsea on occasions. They do leave people isolated. Mark Hughes was quite deep, and so he had to do it by himself, and in the end struggled.
Very well won that by Dewberry. Wise. Phelan and Cernicek times it well. Dewberry again. Good header by Newton. Some winter sunshine illuminating the stand on the far side. The new North Stand builder doesn't look quite like the old white elephant that it used to look. Ginola pulled them a bit there. That's hanging, but will be comfortably playing. And the Russian goalkeeper scores a point. Arms and legs. Hughes one out. Newton. Spencer. No run made by Furlong. Kitson wouldn't sit for him. Barton. Disappointing strike from Barton. His only goal for Newcastle in the League Cup against Bristol City, the Coca-Cola Cup. Has scored though in the FA Cup. It's back when he was playing for Maidstone.
The build-up to that play from Newcastle had Ferdinand actually pushed across onto Andy Myers, and if I was Newcastle at the moment, Myers is picking up Kitson, and Myers likes to play on the left-hand side. I think Ferdinand with his spring and height should try and go over that side, because he would certainly tower above Myers and get away from Dewberry.
Elliott said nothing about the pass. He might have spoken volumes. Put out of the side. Always had talent, he's had little luck with injuries. Ferdinand, just a bit of it. Dewberry got, and that was enough. Wise, Phelan on the left side. This is nice from Chelsea. Now everything to Phelan's right until Wise makes the run outside. Jorsley. The referee is going to book Robert Lee, I think. Certainly put his hand to his pockets. He thought he was pulled. Or was he just taking mud out of his eye? Played the man.
Yeah, Dennis White got caught in two minds. I think Robert Lee also has paid the price for Peter Beardsley's two earlier tackles, and the referee thought this time I put somebody.
That's a very fair point, John. This time in trouble. Well, they've certainly taken to heart the lessons of the first game, but maybe they've taken it a bit too much to heart.
Well, that was the worst tackle of the lot. Dennis Wise has been the main victim, hasn't he, of the tackles as well?
David Lee won't get that. Hard opening 15 minutes here, no score, and rest points are being chalked up for the challenges on Wise. Well, ball was incidental to that. Spencer. Here's Petrescu. Ginola. Determination from both sides is crystal clear. Hasn't allowed the game to settle down there in any way as yet. Spencer, Newton. Neatly done by Chelsea. Now there's no movement. Here's Wise. Phelan on the touchline. Furlong, Spencer and Hughes in the middle. Peacock clearance. Straight into Newcastle supporters. Surprising to learn that they returned 3,000 tickets, Newcastle. There are certainly some empty seats on the south stand behind Cernicek's goal. Well won by Albert.
Not able to get out of their half that easily at the moment, Newcastle. If it's going to work, Elliott and Barton are going to have to be able to get further forward. At the moment, they're too busy defending, as Chelsea do push up and squeeze them, but at the moment, of course, not able to have that final forward pass. They're keeping it quite well in midfield, but now and again they do over-elaborate with the square passes rather than just knock that forward one to hurt the defence.
Newbury. Petrescu. Hughes thinks about going. Barry shadowing him. Phelan really hugging the left touchline. Wide now of Spencer. As Phelan makes the run ahead, Barton has his eye on him. Along with Howie. Hughes further over with Albert. There's space for Newton. Didn't run. Newbury just lengthened the stride. Petrescu. Elliott. Well run by Miles. Then Phelan makes the forward run down the left, and again he's used. Chance for Wise to cross. He's got 3 up. Turned away by Peacock, almost from out of the grasp of Cernicek. Really indicative of not making an error, not giving anything away. Hughes. Bit of a stretch, but Hughes made too much of it. Ginola. Can let it run.
Rejected look for David Ginola, but certainly here's the outlet in midfield where they're looking to try and get him down the left, but of course without Gillespie down the right with his injury, they'll have to vary it a little bit. Kitson now playing through the middle with Ferdinand, and as such they haven't had much really joy down that right hand flank. Most of what they have threatened has come down the left through Ginola.
Really ever looked like getting a goal so far. So I saw Peacock described in one magazine of having one of the 3 worst hairstyles in the Premiership. Ken Bates side by side. Smile on the comments. It was in the league match that those two came back together, and they're hoping for a similar victory. It's short for Barton. That's all he could do with it. Well, the referee says goal kick. And Wood Hullett got a place in the stand and also with plenty to say. Time for David Lee. Rather wasting that. But unlucky Newton. Roll off his instep, and the ball in fact had gone out of play according to the linesman. Wise. Petrescu makes the run and is well found, but with no room to manoeuvre, and it's not the match we hoped it was going to be so far. It's all about cancelling out at the moment. Haven't had a save, haven't had a shot worthy of the name. Sometimes a difference between what's on paper and what turns out to be reality, but there's a long way to go yet. Hughes is just to the right of the penalty spot. Furlong to Wise, to Petrescu with lots of room to cross. Spencer curled up at the back post, but nobody coming in on the right angle. Put out by Barton.
Good play, Spencer finding a bit of space. He is, of course, behind Furlong and Hughes and should be the more elusive one. Petrescu finding him, but probably that's the difference at the moment why we're not getting the chance. If you got the look at the wide players, they're all sort of converted fullbacks at the moment, so actually can't beat people.
Flick on. Spencer. Eddie Newton. Spencer. Furlong. First time or nothing, I'm afraid. And it was Harry who got it away.
Just needed to move his feet a bit quicker, because in fact he tried to bring it down because he was stretching for the volley. I think if he could have taken a couple of quick strides and get himself and set himself for the volley, you just don't get time to bring the ball down at this level.
Ferdinand's header. Furlong. He was asking a lot of the referee there, and I think the teeth say everything about that. Well off by Ferdinand. Ferdinand, good challenge, Miles. Nice little flick by Spencer. Here's Petrescu. Could have gone forward much more quickly then. Elliott. Ferdinand. Who's for Beardsley and Ginola in equal proportions. Myers' head. Hughes rolled it off his Adam's apple. Albert. First excursion for the Belgian. Tried to get it through Newton. But I'm sure he didn't mean to bring it back that far. Peacock. Neatly pulled down by Lee. Oof. Got a deflection for the corner and was spinning viciously.
They're missing his invention that little bit further forward, of course. Rob Lee is doing the holding job in midfield. On this occasion, just got upfield. Deflection could have crept in, couldn't it? But they've got the corner.
I don't think at the moment, Trevor, the word invention belongs to the game's vocabulary. It's all about stopping other people, isn't it? Change of mind by Karine, out by Myers.
Yes, I think most neutrals would always say in a cup tie such as this, an early goal to one side or the other helps the game, but I don't think the two managers would be convinced at this stage.
It's worked for Bart. Slightly unorthodox fashion, it might still. Corner. Typical pose of Terry McDermott. Just the finger in the mouth, no question of nail biting at this juncture. Peacock on the near post, Kitson further back, coming to Albert, didn't make it, Ferdinand. Well, I think only Peter Beardsley would know what his intention was.
I'm not going to offer up anything. Glenn Hoddle making one or two notes to show how they came to defend in that situation, who may have squandered possession. But I think more than anything, you know, I think both, if you look at the players on the pitch there, I mean, there is sufficient invention. I don't think either side sort of suggests at the start of the match they're going to defend, but it is a very big match, third round FA Cup, and I think once the pace quietens that little bit as the game progresses, we might get a bit more space, particularly in the second half.
Elliott. At the moment, one or two of the newspaper reporters would be pleased to know what Glenn Hoddle's written down and borrow a bit from him. I bet they haven't got too many notes. Hey, if you're not a Chelsea supporter, be wondering why Chelsea players are wearing the black armbands. George Thompson, Scottish president, died recently at the age of 86, and the bands are a mark of respect to him. The record, this is the 6th FA Cup meeting between sides. Previous 5 matches have produced 17 goals. Chelsea lead 3-2 in matches. One or two mothers will know, oh, that's where he's gone. Furlong. Newton. Spencer. Spencer. Petrescu. Fell nicely for Cernicek. Barton. Ball's out. Took Glenn Hoddle's mind away from notes. He's going to get nothing. And the reaction of the Newcastle supporters also produced a riposte from Hughes. Kitson. Beardsley. Useful run by the Frenchman. And timely slip. Everybody's slipping now. Myers almost recovered. The shot was from Kitson. It is a little soft on top in places. Yes. Would he have scored?
It was a miss-hit cross, wasn't it? A great ball, as I say, through for Ginoli. He was looking for Ferdinand, and it dribbled across, and then in the end a long-range shot flew over the crossbar by Kitson.
Solidly won by Howie, and here's Beardsley. He's got 4-5 now up with him. Ferdinand.
Ferdinand, of course, such a prolific goal scorer, and probably, if you look at the Chelsea lineup now, that's what they lack more than anything. Their leading goal scorers, John Spencer's got, I think, 5, and then Hughes and Wise with 4 apiece in the league, and that isn't enough if you're going to sort of challenge from a league point of view. You've got to have somebody well into the teens by this stage of the season. We're talking in January. To have John Spencer with 5, you know, I think that indicates what their problem is.
Well, Chelsea haven't quite managed a goal a game this season, 23 in 24 matches. Newcastle have managed over 2 a game, 55 in 25 matches. Not all statistics are damn lies. Ferdinand trying to hold it up. Seen by Phelan. Not too much movement for him. Now Spencer, now there is on the right from Petrescu. Quite a bit of space here, everything to his left. And there are 5 Chelsea players up. Wise!
There's a much better attack, the switchblade there to Chelsea. Petrescu breaking forward. Not the best of crosses, it's a bit deeper, but it was one of those Dennis Wise had to volley really with his foot to expect to score with a long-range header. Even with his haircuts, too much to ask.
Kitson takes on 2. And did he win the corner? No, he didn't. Well, that's out of play. Michael Dewberry, his 11th consecutive game. He's been a real find this season. Injuries giving him his chance. He's certainly taken it and played against all the best. This is Barton. Just couldn't get any sort of shot away. Hughes. Flattered by Howie. Challenge from behind. It'll be another booking. Lee, Barton and Howie. And Ferdinand in conversation with the referee about what? Who knows?
I thought that one was harsh. All right, it was a little bit of a tackle from behind. He only clipped him and thought he went down to make a bit of a meal of it. And Steve Howie unlucky. 3 bookings and all for the same side.
This is Phelan. Hughes going to the middle, so is Furlong. This is Hughes! Score! That's what it means to score in the FA Cup. Mark Hughes, 5th of the season, brings delight around Stamford Bridge. The pace of Phelan the cross, and Hughes made it his. Nobody went with him.
It was a great ball from Dennis Wise over the top. For once, they've got the ball back beyond everyone. Get into the byline. This is the position where you've got to cross the ball. Great cross. And suddenly, little Robbie Elliott against Mark Hughes. There's only one winner there.
It's that little deviation in the run of Mark Hughes. He's alongside Albert 1 minute. Pulls off to the right. And Elliott didn't know where he was. Here's Barton. And here's Ferdinand. Good play.
Now I think we are going to have very much a great cup match. Newcastle have to throw men forward. Chelsea mustn't sit back. I saw them against Liverpool. They went ahead twice, then sat back and tried to hold on to what they'd got and paid the penalty. Let's hope they don't do that today.
This is what's changed the atmosphere at Stamford Bridge. But it really was the old campaigner then. And I'm afraid Robbie Elliott was a spectator, not knowing what he was looking at.
It was a good header by Mark Hughes. I mean, at one stage you wondered if it was just going to clear him, but he just got a step or two back and it didn't go for power, just directed it, knowing the power of the cross would take it into the net. Cernacek, of course, was caught towards the near post, and because it went over at such a pace, tried to adjust, but then it was too late, and as I say, it was Elliott and Hughes left isolated, and Hughes made the most of it.
Cernacek again. Beaten for the second time at Stamford Bridge this season. Solid performance of the Chelsea anthem. They are flying high at the moment. Beardsley, Ginola. An interesting stop. Very effective. Newton's done a good job. Again, Ginola complaining, but there was nothing the matter with that challenge. Furlong.
What has helped Chelsea is the fact Gillespie's not in the side. They know Ginola is the key outlet for Newcastle, so he's tended to drift over there and gang up as a second man alongside Petrescu. And I'm sure if it stays 1-0 into the second half, say quarter of an hour or so, Kevin Keegan will probably try and bring on somebody like Steve Watson to play wide on the right to try and give them more outlets down that side.
It is possible too that Ginola will take a more central role, which he's performed on a number of occasions, including against Arsenal. Beardsley wants it. Ferdinand, Beardsley. Well, it's the first real threat from Newcastle, and we're in the 40th minute.
And it should have actually been an equaliser. This is good ball from Ginola. I thought he could have played Beardsley in first time. That was a bad touch by Les Ferdinand. Just needed a cushioned pass and he would have had a clear opening.
Lee. Barton. Spencer, who stole it, and then was caught offside. Les Ferdinand. A little bit of an attempt to relieve frustration by Ferdinand, but no action from the referee.
That was a close decision as well. When the ball was played, I'm not sure Dan Petrescu down this side at right back might not have played Ferdinand on.
Phelan. There's David Lee. Newton. That's useful. Spencer. Albert. Dwelling a little bit. Elliott. Free kick against Elliott. Petrescu, the injured party. Trying to get it under control and just blocked. Not exactly a New Year greeting. Here's Wise. Away by Beardsley. Chase for Kitson, which he won't succeed. Phelan. Hughes. Just offside given, and that was a very tight one too. It was between two Newcastle players. The linesman gave the benefit of any doubt to the defending side. Perhaps he didn't have any doubt. But Phelan hasn't spent too much time down in that left corner. He's been much more the attacker. Out by Lee. Oh, that's nice by Beardsley. Chance for Albert. Oh, and he hit the post. Belgian very unlucky after the best pass that Beardsley's made in the match. And it was off the outside of the boot, curled away from Dimitri Carino. I think was a little surprised to see it hit the post. Or maybe to hear it hit the post might be more accurate. He was beaten. Ginola. Away by Lee.
Well, one of the Swedish left foots in the Premiership, and Albert, you can see, just knocks it up. It's always going to be a dipping volley outside of the left foot, carrying slightly to one side. I don't think he would have got there if it had been in the net, but the post got in the way.
Coming up to the last 30 seconds, be a bit of stoppage time. Nicely done by Hughes. Well switched by Spencer. Not being killed first time made life too difficult in the end for Phelan. Ginola. Elliott. Beardsley. David Lee had a quick look to see what was behind. The answer was Kitson and Myers. Albert. Chelsea supporters want the half-time whistle. Beardsley. Albert. Well left by Kitson. And Spencer back to help out Myers. Offside given against Hughes. Ginola down this side again. Ferdinand in the middle. First time that he's really got inside, but not with a shot to look for Barton. But the quality of the long passes from Newcastle has certainly not matched the equivalent from Chelsea. Dennis Wise has hit one or two very good ones, including the crucial one. This is Paul Furlong. Finds Petrescu. Almost inadvertently. Wise gets away from Albert. Oh dear. Oh dear. At that moment it was a folly to be Wise.
I think he was so shocked he didn't end up on the turf. Philippe Albert, very wary, I think, of going in on the tackle, giving away a free kick there because he didn't think he was going to make it. And Wise did well, kept his feet, goes to cross it, and then over you go.
The last incident of a half which wasn't packed with incident, but which certainly got better, particularly after Hughes opened the scoring in the 35th minute. All the London clubs which took part in this round yesterday are all in the fourth round draw. There were 4 winners and 6 who will try again. And at half-time in this one, the London club of Chelsea are leading by 1-0 against the league leaders, Newcastle United.
Thanks, Barry. Well, he's right there. I mean, the half did get better and better. It was hugely competitive early on, wasn't it? You weren't enjoying it very much.
I thought the first 25 minutes was dire. I thought Chelsea were excellent. Chelsea tactics were good. Defend the 18-yard line, soak up the pressure, hitting the break. Newcastle, I said at the start of the programme, I wanted them to be competitive, but they were too competitive. They were the first 5 or 6
too competitive.
Well, the first 5 or 6 tackles, they were putting their foot in, but they were nowhere near the ball. And what happens then is it upsets your rhythm. They never ever got started in this game. Their game is all about getting it down, playing it, pass, move. Lee, Beardsley, Ginola.
Beardsley, the hard man.
Beardsley, the hard man. But his first, how he hasn't been booked in the game, I'll never know. I mean, his first 2 tackles, he's never near the ball. But Newcastle have got to get going now, that's for sure.
Okay. Let's have a look at the goal, because it was a super goal, Jim, wasn't it?
It really was, yeah. It was absolutely first class. They got the ball wide, and that's what Chelsea have been trying to do all the while, and that's the way their team is built. That feeling with that lovely left foot there, and just hops it up in the air. Hughes comes in, then waits for it. I mean, Alan will describe that even more. The way in which he fainted and dummied at that point, you were very impressed with.
Yeah, he went in and came back out, left Albert for dead, comes to the back post, and a great header. But Newcastle have been having problems with the line. The 3 centre-backs have been caught once or twice. They got caught at this time. Phelan does well, gets to the byline, it's a great chip in, but the movements was superb. But Hughes, I don't know what Elliott's doing there. I mean, he should have some sort of challenge there, but it was a great goal.
He took Albert out of the game, didn't he?
Well, he went near post, Albert goes with him, and then just checks the back post.
Yeah.
It was classic movement.
Sure.
Actually, a combination of Albert and Elliott is not the best. You know, if you want a tough defensive combination on the left, you wouldn't pick those 2 players. I mean, it's making him horrified that they are written down as defenders in that team. It's asking for trouble. They're too lightweight. They're very skillful
Albert's
players.
Albert's more of a classy midfielder, isn't he? I mean, we saw
he had
evidence of that shot, which was
I go back to the line. The 3 centre-backs are playing a line. They're having problems because they're pushing out maybe 5-6 yards past the 18-yard line, and they're getting caught out. There's no one going and picking up and no one dropping off, and I think they've got to sort that out at half-time.
You were making the point early on, Jim, about Chelsea needing width. I mean, they found it there, and the goal resulted from it.
Yes.
But there's an example here of where you felt they didn't use it.
Yeah, with both fullbacks really playing wide, they get Furlong in possession here quite early. He gets it there. They've gone halfway. You see, they've got a little bit of width there. He gets it down, and Chelsea's tactics are built on the wide man always being there. Now you can see how Barton comes in now to cover. And the width is there. It's praying for that ball out to the left-hand side of the box because the position has been made, he's spare, and, all right, it's easy enough to blame the player. He might have put that in the back of the net and we will say how good it is.
I thought he didn't do badly on myself.
No, but
He fumbled it a bit, didn't he? But,
Chelsea's method, you can see, is built round getting space down the wing with their 3 defenders at the back and the 2 full-backs who push
But
forward.
even there's another example. The ball has come 60 yards there to Furlong, and there's no Newcastle defender beside him. You know, and he's brought it down, allowed to turn. and you just can't afford that at this level.
I think you made the point at the beginning that Chelsea play at home almost like an away side, don't they? They take all the pressure and then those quick breaks. It's quite good.
It's
to
very,
watch.
very successful. It's good tactics.
I'm looking so much forward to watching Newcastle today. I'm somewhat disappointed with them. I mean, they're not showing that much.
Honestly, they haven't got started, and I go back to the too competitive. If you have players that are going rushing about trying to put their foot in quickly and they can't do it, it upsets the rhythm of the side. And they really, Janola's been marked tightly. Yeah. You know, he's never got in the game.
3 men on him all the time.
The Chelsea tactics have been superb.
Albert nearly scored. That would have been a super goal, wouldn't it?
They're too fragile. They're too fragile. I mean, in attack, Albert is beautiful. Here, when he picks up possession, he knows exactly what he's going to do. He's got a left foot like a wand. There it is. That was magnificent. And that's the position in the field at which
our viewers are saying they can't be both too fragile and too competitive. You guys have got to sort it out.
Well, no, I'm saying quite honestly that a good team is balanced. It's got enough tough players, it's got enough players who can tackle, it's got enough good defenders who would satisfy Alan, and it's got enough skillful players who would satisfy me.
That's a perfect team. There's never been a perfect team yet.
A lot of goals that would satisfy me. We only got one at the moment. It was a very good one indeed. Now, there are other matches around today in the Cup, and we'll bring you some goals from today's other games in a moment or two. But first, let's look back at the highlights of yesterday's ties with Gerald Sinstad.
That gulf they talk about between the Premiership and the rest didn't look so huge at the Valley. Charlton leapt across it with the surest of feet. Paul Mortimer's pass after only 7 minutes allowed Kim Grant to add a cool finish. Sheffield Wednesday might have recovered from that. Instead, they plunged headlong into deeper trouble. Or rather, Kevin Pressman did. Kim Grant brought down on a journey to nowhere. Mortimer's penalty left Wednesday with the unwanted distinction of being the only Premiership side knocked out so far. Hereford, on the other hand, may feel that they've missed the chance to add Spurs to the list. Torrential rain at Edgar Street created prototype conditions for a spill. When Ronnie Rosenthal crashed in the opener for Tottenham, that danger seemed to evaporate. A wasted penalty left Hereford skipper Dean Smith mentally composing his apology speech. "Don't worry," said his defensive partner John Brough, "we'll get one." And they did. Brough did, glancing in a corner. Hereford hoped to parade a ton of beef on the hoof for the replay. You don't see that at White Hart Lane every week. Spurs will feel happier about a replay than Manchester United. A goal down at half-time, Sunderland had played positively, achieved nothing. That changed when substitute Steve Agnew let fly from 25 yards. Kevin Pilkington beaten by the bounce. Having found the range himself, Agnew then delivered a pass into a large area that United had left unguarded. In went Craig Russell, in went Sunderland's second goal. Alec Ferguson's dismay was partially relieved by Eric Cantona's imperious header from Lee Sharp's free kick. United saved from the chop by 10 minutes, but is it merely a stay of execution? A question Arsenal, with their dodgy away form, will also ask themselves. They took a late lead against Sheffield United, courtesy of Paul Merson's piercing run and Ian Wright's deadly strike. But the rest of their play didn't match up. On came Adrian Heath, sub now on the pitch where he scored a winning semi-final goal 12 years ago. His cross was met by a crisp shot from Dane Whitehouse, and that was another tie for the pending file. At Carrow Road, soccer cliches are being rewritten. It's no longer parrots, it's canaries they're sick as. Nobody more poorly than skipper John Newsom. He gave Brentford an own goal to get them off the mark. Later on, Newsom scored at the legitimate end, but too late. By then, Brentford had scored again. This slap in the face was administered by Marcus Bent, who's all of 17 years old. Losing to a side without an away win in the second division would do nothing to improve the atmosphere at Norwich. West Brom, another club that trails its own clouds, must have feared being taught a lesson at Dario Grady's academy. Crewe hit Albion with 4 classy goals. First, Adebola's header. Then a fizzing shot from Rivers. The third, from a smooth passing build-up, and a finishing touch from Booty. And the fourth, squeezed in from a narrow angle by Murphy. That made it 4-1. Albion battled back to 4-3, missed a chance for a late equaliser. At least it wasn't a long journey home in the coach. Finally, another prediction unfulfilled. Forest to fall at Stoke. The experts who thought so were almost right.
Options here for Keane. Into Sturridge. Yes! Little. And still. Lee. Pearce. It's in!
Remember, we've got the draw for the fourth round live right after the action here from Stamford Bridge today. But let's look at the goals from one of the ties played earlier today, a South Coast derby. Southampton against Portsmouth. Tony Gubber was there.
Watson just kept it in. Oh, he's got inside Stimson. Good position here. Shipley! It's in! Jim Magilton. It always looked a promising attack when Gordon Watson slipped the reins of the fullback Mark Stimson. He had time, he had the ball at his feet. He knocked it to the back post for Shipley to win it in the air, and then in the scramble on the goal line, it was Jim Magilton who knocked it in. Well, they're just backing off him. Letitia. It's an easy goal for Magilton. And surely it's all over in the first few seconds of the second half. And what were Portsmouth doing? The defenders just backed away. They backed away. And Matthew Letitia, well, finally, he just had to have a dip. Here's Letitia. Oh, he still has it. Letitia. It's 3, and Shipley gets the third goal, and now the result looks as comfortable as you suspected it might be.
Southampton safely through to that draw a little later on, and also earlier today there was an extraordinary tie between Derby and Leeds. Here's what happened. Clive Tilsley commentating.
Free kick which Simpson will take. It'll come for Willems. Blocked by Jobson, hit by Trollope. Still a chance for Gabbiadini. And against all the odds, the First Division leaders are in front. Van der Laan with a free kick. Headed on by Nicholson towards Simpson. Look at that, it's 2! Paul Simpson! 2 in 2 minutes! Dorigo. Deflected off Len, it's come from McAllister, and now Speed, and that's 2-1. Forward to Speed. Now Yeboah. Dorigo. Yeboah trying to get there, Dean trying to get there, and all of a sudden it's 2-2. It's bounced through towards Wallace. Holt, the keeper, has come and has lost it. Yeboah's there. And Leeds, unbelievably, have won it in stoppage time. Headed by Dean. Here goes Yeboah. It's 4-2. Tony Yeboah seals Leeds United's place in the fourth round of the FA Cup.
So a big fight back there by Leeds, and you'll see a latest score. This is at half-time. Everton leads Stockport County by 2-1. Armstrong for Stockport had equalised a Stewart goal, and Ablett has put Everton 2-1 up. So the only Premiership side to go out so far, Sheffield Wednesday. Now, let's hear from Ray Stubbs. He's got Chelsea's Nigel Spackman with him.
I would imagine you're quite happy in the Chelsea dressing room at the moment.
Very happy, playing well, 1-0 up against the league leaders. I think they haven't really got started, I think, because we've not let them get started.
I was going to say, what particularly has impressed you with Chelsea in the first half?
I think we've pressed the ball very well and made it uncomfortable for Newcastle at the back, and they've not really got forward into wide positions very well, and we've looked very comfortable except for the shot from Albert.
We've seen Newcastle play some tremendous football during the season so far. They'll be a little bit better in the second half, surely.
Well, it's a third-round cup tie. I mean, they've got to get better. But I think we've got a bit of an Indian sign over them, I think, because we've beaten them in the league and they didn't really get going. And today, I mean, they've certainly not got going yet. But 45 minutes of cup football ahead, I mean, it's going to be very exciting.
We've been talking about Newcastle's defensive lineup, but you've played in the back four a couple of times. What do you think they need to do to try and sort things out?
Well, I think they've obviously changed their system to play here today. I mean, I think they've changed it midweek as well to try and get used to it. They've all good players at the back, but maybe Kevin Keegan and Phil Well, he's got to push Beardsley forward a little bit more and maybe change it at the back to a back four and put Albert into midfield. He could change it like that.
Chelsea have been inconsistent. When they get it right, they look pretty good.
Oh, it's a fantastic goal. I mean, Dennis held onto the ball in midfield, waited for Philo's run and chipped it in, and the lovely far post cross from Philo, and there was Mark Hughes knock it in. Great finish.
Thanks for talking to us. Second 45 to come.
Thank you.
Let's have a quick line from here about the second half. Can Newcastle turn this one round?
I think they've got to change the system as well. I don't like agreeing with Nigel Spackman, but I'm going to have to. I think they should go back to a flat back four, push Albert in and get men forward.
Jim?
They've got to put Beresford on, I think, at left back, and the Albert Elliott left side is weak to start with defensively, and if they don't cover that up, they're going to be torn to pieces,
Okay.
I think, again.
Thank you. Trevor, Barry, all yours.
Newcastle have made one substitution, forced on them by an injury to Robert Lee, who is replaced by Lee Clark. So that certainly cuts down the options for Kevin Keegan. Kevin Keegan, who thought that his side would be good enough to win here in the league and at Old Trafford, both those games in December. And there they didn't compete. But now surely they have to play their natural flowing game built on adventure if they're to win here, or indeed if they're to avoid defeat here. Chelsea, full value for starting the second half with a one-goal advantage.
Didn't look a happy man, did he, Kevin Keegan? I don't think I'd have liked to have been a Newcastle player in their dressing room.
Problem for Robert Lee is an Achilles strain. Didn't have too many opportunities to show his attacking abilities in the first half. Beardsley. This is Elliott. Ginola staying out on the left side at the start. Kitson and Ferdinand down the middle.
Philip Albert has moved more into midfield, though. They're playing more orthodox flat back four. And Lee Clark is sort of tucking on the right-hand side when actually they have possession, and then filling in when they don't. But they will still lack any real width on this right-hand side. But I think we'll see Albert pushing further and further forward to midfield now.
Ginola. Clark in the box. This is Albert. Clark harried. Harry, flag up for offside. Riti Karim is going to take it. But strong header by Newton. Confidence. Elliott works for some, not for all. Ask Mr. Brannigan at Bolton. Ginola. Kitson. Peacock. Elliott. Barton, Peacock, Howie and Elliott as the back four, although Elliott has got well forward here and is well found but couldn't hold it in.
Well, they're not too happy with that decision, but great play by Ginola, coming inside, then switching, quick change of feet and releasing Elliott, who would have had a clear run to goal. Similar position then he would have been to Terry Phelan when he set up Chelsea's goal, but couldn't quite keep it in.
Well, I think this is a real test for the Frenchman, who's a player of quality, but he now has to prove that he has the ability to turn this match for Newcastle. It's a question of attitude and character as well as skill. It's David Lee. It's goal kick. Been on the touchline. Andy Myers in possession. Lee. Newcastle in Chelsea have possession, have a back four with Albert just tucking in front of them. Wise. Hughes. Chased by Peacock. Michael Dewberry. Useful to Hughes, who lost Peacock. Well, Hughes took Peacock to the halfway line and then waved him goodbye. When the ball came through from Michael Dewberry, Peacock was nowhere near getting possession before Hughes. Side netting.
Should have done better. They see him just running behind Darren Peacock. You shouldn't lose a striker in that position, and actually having done all the hard work, set it up from the halfway line, Mark Hughes will know that he should have done better with the final shot.
Steve Howe for Newcastle. Dewberry. Lee. Dan Petrescu. Spencer. Terry Phelan. Gap to move into, and Spencer's still available. Hughes offers himself and tries to go past Howie.
Kane still getting space, isn't he? And twisted and turned. The final shot this time on his left foot, not getting there. You can see Newcastle playing almost obsessed with that left-hand side. Clark in the front of the picture is not giving the width on the right, and they look lopsided to the normal Newcastle balance, which has been so effective for the first half of the season.
Well, I have to say that's one of the reasons why I'd bring the Frenchman in and let the two fullbacks get forward. But only down to the decision of one man that counts, Kevin Keegan. Here's Ferdinand. Carried out of it by Myers. Here's Barton. Not the best of challenges by Spencer. Free kick given. And it's shot from Albert. Start to the second half is by no means the razor-sharp start that we had to the first half.
Lee Clark, of course, being more the holding player in central midfield, then got a bit overwhelmed in the Old Trafford game. Kevin Keegan gave him a break then, and he's come on and playing almost sort of very close to Albert in the centre of midfield, which is supposedly giving Beardsley the opportunity to get closer to Kitson and Ferdinand, but it does leave a huge gaping hole down this right flank and no outlet for them to pass out to this way.
Here's Ferdinand. That's useful. Kitson still battling with Dewberry, and Petrescu comes in at some cost to himself, because the shot, such as it was a shot on his knee. And there's a bit of a inquisition going on in the Chelsea goal area. Not about the injured party, but the debate about who should have done what and what Dimitri Karin was doing.
The Dewberry's with Kitson here, and he decides to let it run. Is it going to go back to the keeper? And it gets caught under his feet. Kitson tries to get it out, and they're tugging away. A little bit 6 to 1, half a dozen the other, and Petrescu comes on to help out. But I think in doing so, he just stubbed, whether it's his knee or his ankle, or turned it over in the soft conditions.
Yeah, I thought he actually got a whack, but he didn't. It was his own movement that caused his problem. Dennis Wise orchestrating the crowd. It's clearly very painful for the Romanian. Steve Clark is the Probable substitute. Conversation between Glenn Hoddle and Peter Shreves. Stretcher these days doesn't mean what it used to. They'll be checking, see if he can recover. Here's Clark, here's Barton. Clark again. Myers was in the way. Featherman has started to come across. And Ginola wasn't given the chance by Dewberry. Reasonably enough. Albert. Played by Myers. Spencer. Kitson. Little Scott won't be beaten. Here's Barton. It was in the end. Ginola. Support from Elliott outside. Ginola with the shot.
Petrescu just trying it out. If Steve Clark comes on, I mean, he's a straight replacement. It would be ideal because he always plays that right side. But have a little run up, see if it's going to be all right, is the remark. He doesn't look totally convinced, but I think he'll give it a go for a little while anyway.
Steve Clark's actually been playing on the other side, played on the left side at Queen's Park Rangers, but he's a naturally right-sided player, but not coming on for the moment. Petrescu back into the action. On by Kitson. Lee. Kitson. Barton now comes forward. Furlong and Peacock. Well taken on by Spencer. Neatly done by the Scot. This is Wise. Hughes to the right. The other two the other way. Hughes being given the room. Didn't take advantage of it. Referee telling Spencer to go to the touchline for repairs.
Here again, coming inside on his left foot. It's not his stronger one, and he doesn't hold back, does he? They either fly into the roof of the net, or you get everyone in the spectators in the stand ducking. But he's certainly been the most dangerous Chelsea attacker, anyway.
And oft times creative, judging by that. Beardsley. It's been pretty quiet except for owning the hour of both referee and the crowd. Play on, says the referee. Ginola. Elliott outside him. Frenchman coming inside. Got deflected. Side netting. Well, I've said it before, Trevor, and I'll say it again. I still think that is Newcastle's best course, to let him come inside.
But he likes to cut in on that right foot, sort of pick the ball up wide and then come in. On occasions he hasn't perhaps got the space. And because I think Ginola's starting to run at Petrescu, he's not totally happy with his fitness. It's a good idea now for Glenn Hoddle to bring on Steve Clark and just try and close down that little glimmer of hope that Ginola has given him. Actually, the deflection, completely wrong-footed Curry. If it had been going into the corner, he'd have had no chance to recover. So that was an escape for Chelsea.
Out to Clark, who finds Clark, as we've now got two Clarks on. Here's Barton. Yes, you're right, he does like to come in from the left, but it does create a bit of space if Elliott or somebody else is going to take the wider position. Here he is again.
Dewberry, Lee and Myers have done excellent, actually. When you think a couple of months ago, Hullet was the sweeper, Erland Johnson and Frank Sinclair were the two markers. So to suddenly get a trio thrown together because of injuries and suspension and find that now they're keeping everyone else out is a great bonus, I'm sure, for Glenn Hoddle.
Wise. Myers. Phelan has gone in this time. David Lee. Spencer. Dewberry. Steve Clark. Yeah. Play on, good advantage played by Mr. Lodge. Newton. Three weights. Furlong. Away by Peacock. And the referee is going to book Elliott for that challenge. And he certainly has every reason to do so. Pretty good to see how that's come into the referee's armoury. They allow play to go on and then can go back and book the offender. We've passed the 2/3 of the contest point, and it's a contest which continues to go Chelsea's way. Newton. It's a better challenge by Elliott. Termination from Wise. Here's David Lee. And young Dewberry just turning it all up a little bit. Only just 20, Dewberry, incidentally. Here's Beardsley. First piece of skill for him, but he had no one to pass to. Nobody at all on the right side. Kevin Keegan must wish he could pull Will Fox back from Tottenham. But what do you do when a player wants to leave? But it's been so costly, the injury to Gillespie. Furlong! Oh, I have to say, missed by a mile.
The linesman's flag was up. Phil Furlong didn't know that when he took aim. It was a lovely flowing move by Chelsea, wasn't it? On his favoured left foot. But as you can see, as the ball's chipped in, linesman flag goes up. He doesn't know at that stage, and I'm sure he'll be relieved to be told by his friends afterwards it wouldn't have counted.
Just possible, Trevor. He might claim he knew that all along. There's Phelan. Lee Clark. Wise rather brushed aside by Ferdinand, who was then thumped a bit by Myers. John Spencer in an ideal position. He's had a good match again, the Scot. Barton and Phelan just got a touch. Goodness me, if he'd have cut his toenails this morning, he might not have made that. Hughes. Chelsea's so much more mobile than Newcastle. Hughes! Well, even those of experience can do it.
Well, at this stage, then, Hoddle and the Chelsea supporter, I think, will be elated with their 1-0 lead, but be a bit frustrated that they haven't got a second to capitalise perhaps on the balance of play up until now, because whilst it's 1-0, just one little lack of concentration could cost them dearly. I do believe this right side of Newcastle is a huge problem for them. I mean, he's not on the bench today, Mark Honecker, the Swiss international, but he could well bring him into right back and push Barton up as far as the league is concerned. But what he's going to do to solve the problem today, I don't know, because at the moment Newcastle don't look like they're getting back into it. He's got to try and switch something.
Phelan. Three ganging up, 2 mark 2 in the middle with Albert in front of them. Barton. Myers. Really good chest trap, because it was hit quite hard. Wise. Phelan. Spencer. Hughes. Untimely slip. Not the best of clearances by Howie. Well up this time by Howie. Newton. Shinalao was in the left back position then. Comes across. Finds Barton.
Well, there's certain arrogance creeping into Chelsea's play. They mustn't afford, as I say, to get complacent. But you know, certainly the supporters enjoying this because it is the best period of superiority. They've just got to turn it into that second goal.
Goalkeeper comes to claim well. Well, I think it was the general consensus of opinion among Chelsea supporters that the league match, which they won 1-0 against Newcastle on December the 9th, was the best performance by the side in Glenn Hoddle's time here. And with the odd hiccup against Wimbledon and for a long time against Queen's Park Rangers during this week, they've built a bit from there. Confidence has come. Style of play is rather more what he wants. Certainly the style of play from Newcastle still is nothing like what we've become so used to and what we've so much admired.
Well, Lee Clark had possession there in the centre and looked wide to the right, and of course there's no one there, so trying to hope for one over the top to get Ferdinand in with his pace, but they are squandering possession, and I'm sure some of the recent away matches is a worry for Kevin Keegan. He's got money from that Will Fox transfer. Of course, also I think perhaps that's the area that he might think of spending the money to get somebody out wide on the right.
They had a line-up then of a back four, Albert, then two in front of him, Clark and Beardsley. Barton really does have to gamble a bit. Ferdinand. Barton available. Just a touch reluctantly. Albert. Diagonal ball on for Beardsley. Not given. Wise. Spencer. Seen by Peacock. Clark. Robbie Elliott. Hughes. And away goes the pacey Phelan. No, not this time.
Been useful to have Terry Phelan back into the side, though. Steve Clark's done a good job there in his injured absence, but he's a natural left footer, and that's what happened because with the goal, it's such a difference if you don't have to bring it inside on your right foot. He crossed on the run, and Hughes has given them this lead, which at the moment they thoroughly deserve.
Gilla. Lee's header, but only down to Beardsley. Gets a second bite. Michael Dewberry beat him the second time, but Beardsley failed to control it the first time. It's been one of the Newcastle captain's quieter matches. Not often you look back on a game and think that the only time you remember seeing Beardsley was when he was upsetting everybody.
We're trying to join the front two. I mean, you can't find the space if there's no width to pull the Chelsea people out of midfield at the moment. We saw a few minutes ago Glenn Hoddle come to the line and said keep it tight. And he meant really just to stifle that midfield area to make sure people like Beardsley can't get it to feet and run these three central defenders. And Newcastle, being unable to spread the play on the right-hand side, has played into their hands.
Peacock in trouble. few howls from the crowd, but no protests from Chelsea players. That's well played by Ginola. 2 in the middle. He's coming across on his own for Kitson. Faulty pass by the Frenchman.
The most magnificent bit of skill of the whole game. Oops.
It's out. He looks a little red-faced. The expression of Les Ferdinand said so much. I hope I'm not going to upset all the supporters of Chelsea, past and present, but all I can say is this is Chelsea. These sort of things do sometimes happen here. Just couldn't reach it. Interesting thought with all the embarrassment for Dimitri Karin. Should a free kick have been given? Because that was actually a back pass and he put his hand down. But it's such a curious moment that it's thought escaped both referee and other players. Here's Newton. Here's Hughes. Brilliant trap by Hughes. Chelsea are winning this well, but they still only have the 1 goal. This is going to be one of those days when Newcastle will say, well, we didn't play well, but we got away with it. Peacock. Phelan. Furlong is making the run, and by doing so lets Phelan come through the middle. And if they had a break down the right side, Barton might better use it. Here he is. Beardsley. Clark. Barton. It's across the face. Still Beardsley. Again, a very interesting clearance by Newton. Tackle it was. Ginola. Albert! Trying for the second time, but this time his flick up took it too high. Here's Clark. Just a little bit of a spell here from Newcastle. It's not madly well orchestrated, but it's causing a few flutters among Chelsea supporters, I warrant. Now Hughes. Well spread out. Wise answers the drums. Phelan.
See the advantage of a natural left footer there. I mean, it was a perfectly played move and got him in towards the byline. 3 players in there. Mark Hughes, Paul Furlong in particular. Hughes has been outstanding again, hasn't he? Spread the play superbly. But this, of course, was the ball that was knocked back. Dimitri Karin then slipping, gets his hand on there. And like everyone, I'm sure the referee had forgotten the back pass from Hughes.
Well, I have to be honest. Yours truly included. That's what we have a backup team for here at the BBC. Here's Howie. The only trouble is everybody's going to claim credit for telling us. Here's Phelan. Myers. Wise. Wise again. Good run forward by Spencer. Hughes on the far side. This is Furlong. end-to-end rumbustious stuff. Still Chelsea playing far the better football, but they still haven't added to the one goal, and it might still be costly. Good stop by Lee. Very similar feelings to the league game, and it looked as though the one goal wouldn't be enough, but it proved to be. In the end, one was enough, but in a cup tie it adds to the nervous tension.
Phelan did well again just now, didn't he, down the left-hand side. I thought Paul Furlong a bit unlucky, actually chested it quite well, hooked it in, and either side of checking it would have been a goal, but straight at him, he was able to make the save, and whilst it remains 1-0, there is still hope.
Ginola now coming from sort of left-back, left-half position. Foul by Hughes. Ginola stuck to his tradition, incidentally, the long-sleeve second half. Myers! Oh, goodness me. Would have been an own goal. Come for the ball, he says.
Had an interesting 5 minutes, hasn't he, Karine? Certainly decided then to hook it away. Myers hits, do you agree? Could easily have just gone that little bit harder and drifted over.
Neatly done by Hughes. Spencer just ran away from him. Into the last quarter of an hour. And this only meeting of two Premiership sides. Not yet decided, although Chelsea, if they don't win it, will kick themselves. Well, bees around the honeypot. Every time Ginola gets the ball all around him. Oh, it's neatly done. Made it work without touching it. Here's Beardsley. Blocked by Newton. One of the contenders surely for man of the match, Eddie Newton.
Yeah, he's been outstanding just in front of the three central defenders. Picked up all the loose balls, and I think that's the feature of this second half as well. Every loose ball is just broken. The side that's full of running, full of confidence, always picks up those. And I think when you're a manager, Kevin Keegan sitting there will know that they've just got that little bit of extra zest and are picking up those. And that's something there, thinking to himself, how do I get my side back into this match in the last quarter of an hour? And probably I would think there's going to be another substitution that might try and lift them. But at the moment, as you say, Chelsea will feel that they should be 2-0 up. Steve Watson, with his tracksuit bottoms up, looks the more likely candidate. Beresford, of course, a good attacking left-back, but I would have thought Watson, who could even throw himself forward, could play midfield and stick somebody like Elbert up front to add some extra height. Who knows?
Interesting, Gavin Peacock also warming up there, of course, a former Newcastle United player. Had to come back to London for personal reasons, having served Kevin Keegan well in both avoiding relegation and in winning a championship. Brought them back to the big time. Check of the watch. There have been too many smiles down there today.
Some people say it might do Newcastle good, be out of the FA Cup, they can concentrate on the league, but I can assure you that was never in Kevin Keegan's thoughts. He wanted to go for all three trophies, and the FA Cup is just as important to the league, I'm sure.
One word that summarises that: the man is a winner. Met by Howie. And again. Clark. Kitson. Clark again. It's all a bit bunched. Ferdinand battles for it and then was pulled, I think, a bit by Wise. Referee right on the spot. Here's Barton. Beardsley, Barton offering himself on the right. Chance now for a decent cross. Ferdinand Couldn't get to it really, and Phelan puts it out of harm's way.
Much better though, wasn't it? Beardsley just drifted to this right to make the second man, and that allowed Broughton to go the overlap. Wasn't that far away, Ferdinand. Dewberry again did well just to block it.
Ginola has come across to take it. Peacock on the near post. Kitson at the back. Here's Ferdinand climbing beautifully. It's another corner. Furlong back with Peacock. Up comes Ferdinand again, beaten by Dewberry. Beardsley. Ginola is on the right side this time. Early cross in. Won by Lee. Here's Ferdinand offside. Won't count. Flag was up. The roar around Stamford Bridge has a touch of relief about it.
Best spell of pressure, wasn't it? And a little touch on by Darren Peacock there, probably just ahead. Andy Myers puts his hand up. I'm not sure that he didn't play him on and they were level. Difficult with that shot because Myers was out of the picture, but whether he said he used a hand to control it, but the linesman's flag went up definitely for the offside.
But into the last 10 minutes. That's neatly done. Beardsley. Good challenge by Myers. But the Newcastle threat has certainly increased. Furlong finds Hughes with the best pass he's played all afternoon, and Hughes responds with the worst he's played all afternoon.
It looks terrible. He actually looked for John Spencer. When he looked up quickly, John Spencer was towards the far post and then darted away from his marker for a near post cross, but last time Hughes looked because he knocked it long, and that's where the misunderstanding came.
Ferdinand busting his way through, taking 2 if not 3 to stop him. Spencer suddenly found himself all alone really, except for a load of stripes. Wise, Hughes, they've got a man over, Phelan on the side. Oh, Mark Hughes, and Phelan says, for heaven's sake, up. I didn't see you, but he should have.
Well, there's no excuse there, is there, whether he didn't see it, because he had plenty of time to have a quick look, and they had 3 against 2. Mark Hughes going for the shots. There was Furlong also in there. Phelan beyond the far post. Either one of them he had time to pick out, and of course the second goal then it would have been all over.
Peacock. But Chelsea trying to press, trying to deny the space, trying to push up, and Albert takes advantage. Well, wasn't that a back pass as well? Well, Albert certainly thinks it should be. Well, it certainly looked like one to me.
Well, that one looked more obvious, didn't it? I mean, here, 2 defenders going in, Dewberry and Clark. Dewberry, a definite little try, attempted to knock it back. It's then dribbled there slowly, and Dimitri Karin flicks it up and catches it. And that, I think, definitely was a deliberate back pass.
Newton. Newcastle ball. Albert. Ginola. Still too much on the fringe. Kitson. Ginola. Free kick. And Mark Hughes will be booked. The first Chelsea player to be booked. Just check on the number, I'm sure he knows who it is. Chance for Newcastle. Massive players up. Only the goalkeeper +1 not in an attacking position. Fair amount of jostling going on. Met beautifully by Dewberry. Well pulled down by Peacock. Handball. Linesman's flag is up. It's outside the box, but handball by Hughes. Pressure on Chelsea.
I would have thought it's a position for Albert with his left foot. I think it'd be particularly dangerous.
Ginola has come over. And the referee waves the wall back. Little switch to Barton on the right might cause a few problems. Further back, the man to attack the ball is nothing like 10 yards. Spencer, neither I suspect is wise. Albert, Wall did its job. Barton, he might still get a chance to cross it, but he's going to have to work at it. It's a throw.
Chelsea did well. There's no way they were 10 yards when the actual kick was taken, but they got away with it.
Only thought was for the shot, but they could certainly have got Barton in. It's an easy game to play from up here. Ginola into the last 5 minutes. Peacock. Oh, the bounce favoured Chelsea.
That could have dropped anywhere, couldn't it? But as you say, it did favour Chelsea. But they probably earned it up to now, but it's absorbing the last few minutes, isn't it? I sure think for Glenn Hoddle it will seem an eternity.
Well, as you said at half-time, it was getting better. Second half has been a lot more entertaining than the first. And Chelsea supporters once again living on their nerves at the finish for all the quality performance their team have produced. Here's a chance for Kitson. Somehow Myers got to it. Beardsley couldn't balance himself. Now can. And here's the Frenchman, Ginola. Oh, for goodness sake. Nearer Paris than West London.
Perhaps he was playing a 1-2 with Peter Beardsley there. He's just having a chat with Terry Phelan, who I think pointed out you didn't hit that right, and now he's trying to apologise. I didn't mean it, honestly, David. You're a good player.
Hughes. It's a free kick to Newcastle. Mark Hughes, the injured player. Well, I think during this break, an opportunity, Trevor, for us to confirm vote of man of the match?
Yes, Eddie Newton, I think definitely for me. He's been sort of the holding man in midfield, just picking up those pieces, particularly for the first hour when it was so ferocious. Dennis Wise alongside him. I thought the three central defenders have done well as well, but he's certainly been very influential. Mark Hughes, of course, also excellent up front. But it's the Littlewood's man of the match, Eddie Newton.
Three minutes on the clock, but obviously there will be added time. And concern for Mark Hughes. He's injured in the fixture between these two in the league last season, and that rather changed the course of where he was going. But he's not going to come off in this situation. Well, he's come off the field, but Mr. Lodge says you've got to stay off the field. So indeed has Harry. So two players off the field. One again by Dewberry, down to Beardsley. Blocked again by young Dewberry. Ferdinand can't get through. That's a corner. Dimitri Karin, who's had so little to do. It's been a bundle of nerves in this second period. Queuing up. Bit of a push perhaps, but not given. Howie. Out by Lee. Peel for handball. Not given. Out to Beardsley. Blocked. Cracking finish. Only in the FA Cup do you see things like this. One out of the sky, gets the flick on, turned away by Phelan, back by Beardsley. Phelan can get rid of it again. Keeps his head well.
That's pulsating stuff, isn't it? I thought Chelsea might have got away with a little handball there where it was bobbling around and it was brought under control and hooked clear, but whether it was doesn't matter because it wasn't given, and it's still 1-0.
Paul Furlong. A few seconds wasted. Newcastle desperate to get hold of the ball. We're into the last minute. Comes down to Wise. Phelan. It's done well, Terry Phelan. Newton. Littlewood's man of the match. Keeps going to the end in the quality that he's shown. Cernicek. It wasn't handball, he dropped it outside the area. Look up from Lee Clark. Kitson down the right, now moves in to join Ferdinand. Lee Clark plays it straight at Wise. Days gone by, this would have been a back pass to the goalkeeper who'll pick it up and hoof it up the end. But it's got to be from the deck. Met by Dewberry. Been a colossus again, this young man. Ginola. We're into stoppage time. Chased by the Frenchman, the ball staying in. Newcastle throw. Good challenge. Again, the Newcastle throw. Beardsley. Clark can switch it. This is Barton. Lots of arms up waiting for the ball. Met by Lee. Away by Spencer. Cernicek. Not quite a Schmeichel, but effectively forward. Away again by Dewberry. Offside flag is given against Hughes.
Well, I don't think anyone could deny Chelsea over the 90 minutes deserved the victory. They had the better players. Dewberry, Newton and Hughes probably the trio of the 90 minutes.
Beardsley. Well seen by Clark. Comes down to Hughes. Keegan goes to get the ball. Crowd want the final whistle, at least most of them do. They'll be watching in Newcastle and fearing it. Ginola gets the cross in. Ferdinand gets a brush at the ball and no more. A Russian not rushing. Two minutes, Mr. Lodge is allowed. Has a look at his watch again. Knock it long, it has to be. Ferdinand on. Beardsley to chase. Kitson waits in the middle. Ball hadn't gone out in spite of the appeals. Picks out Clark. Albert.
Sighs of relief all round Stamford Bridge, and I think that expression sums it up. Chelsea just that little bit sharper all the way through the afternoon, and it's going to be a great result for them. And perhaps they sense another appearance for Glenn Hoddle's side in the FA Cup final with a happier ending. Who knows?
Ferdinand, goalkeeper comes to meet, and Ferdinand has equalised! Sudden change from bench to bench. All smiles and their dejection. Peter Shreves and Glenn Hoddle It has proved today when Newcastle have not played well, but they have escaped.
I mean, Dimitri Karin, I mean, we've said what a nightmare second half he's had. I mean, Glenn Hoddle may look at his watch, but it was just such a poor goal kick. Look at this goal kick. Why put it through the middle? And then, of course, goes beyond Ferdinand's play. Poor old Dewberry called out just for once, but you have to point the finger solely at the goalkeeper. He's had a bad second half, and that just summed it up. And Chelsea's suddenly totally deflated.
Stamford Bridge has suddenly gone very quiet. They will have to do it all again at St James's Park. Les Ferdinand, goal number 23. Priceless.
All those chances suddenly now come home, don't they?
It's an old adage, Trevor, that you know far better than I do. When you're on top, one goal needs to have a partner. 1-1 is the final outcome. Les Ferdinand sends the Newcastle supporters home happy. And Glenn Hoddle will know this was a match which got away, because the quality that Chelsea produced, and they produced quite a lot of it, could not add to the goal by Mark Hughes in the 35th minute. And deep into stoppage time, they were made to pay for it by Les Ferdinand. How the expressions have changed in the last few seconds. Mark Hughes can't quite believe it. His goal ought to have won Chelsea the tie, but not so. Final outcome then is 1-1, and it's the small number of supporters, relative in a crowd of over 25,000, who have enjoyed the day the more. Every Newcastle player getting the congratulations. Hughes goes off and knows that his goal should have counted for so much more. Final outcome at Stamford Bridge is 1-1.
So both clubs go into the draw, which we've got coming up live for you in a few minutes, but it was the Chelsea throw-it-away story today.
Oh, unbelievable. Chelsea were the better side. The best players were all in blue jerseys. The only way that Newcastle were going to score was a mistake by the keeper. Feel sorry for Dewberry, who was magnificent. He never gave Les Ferdinand a kick. And one bad mistake at the end by the keeper. 10 out of 10 for Newcastle. They kept going, but Chelsea were by far the better side.
We'll hear from you in a moment, Jim, but we've got Les Ferdinand and Mark Hughes, the goal scorers, downstairs right now.
Les, you must have thought surely you're out the cup.
Yeah, I suppose the longer it went on, you started to hear their fans whistling. So we knew it was near the end of the time. And, you know, we just kept plugging away. We flung everyone forward and hoped we'd get a lucky break.
You scored some important goals. Did you think a chance had come your way?
I was pressing all the time. I played really well at the back there. Every ball that bobbled seemed to go to them, you know, and they seemed to clear it. And I thought it was going to be one of them days, you know, but you've got to keep plugging away for 90 minutes, and luckily we did, and we got the goal at the end.
Well, the reaction from your players said it all. You've really got out of jail. Mark, there's the ecstasy, agony for the Chelsea side.
Yeah, at the end there we just had to clear our lines, really. I'm not sure how much time the referee had it on. It seemed quite a lot to us. But all credit to Les, he took his chance and stuck away.
You'd been so resilient. You'd got the goal in the second half, but it started to just wobble slightly towards the end.
Well, obviously they were pushing men forward and taking a few chances, but overall on the majority of the game I thought we passed the ball a lot better than them and made a lot of opportunities, and maybe we should have finished it before the end.
Mark, we thought you got the goal that mattered. Les, it looks like you've got an absolutely vital goal. The way you were all cheering coming down here now, going back to St James's Park, you'll try and build on this now and win the replay.
Yeah, of course, you know, we haven't got a good record down here at Chelsea. We've got a good record at home. Hopefully we can take them there and finish off the job there.
Relieved? Is that an understatement?
A big understatement, yeah.
Well, you drew the draw. Now you've got another game to play. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, Newcastle will be the favourites to win that replay now at St James's Park. Nobody else seems to win there this season.
No, I mean, it really is extraordinary. I mean, you know, Chelsea from years gone by have been the music hall side. You know, they actually deserved to win the game today. They took Newcastle apart, and Beardsley was trying to inspire his team to do something, but it just wasn't coming off. And then they have a goalkeeper who all he's got to do is kick it into the other half of the field wide, right? and he hits it low and gives them the one chance they need. Ferdinand never looked like being an England centre-forward or England striker.
He was outplayed
by a young lad.
Yeah.
He was out of breath at the end. He appeared to me physically to be down in that game. And there's the guy, a present from Chelsea, you know, a present to say, here, we're a happy-go-lucky side. I mean, Glenn Hoddle, I feel so sorry for him because it was a well-motivated team that he had all the way through, well-designed, and won the game, and then gave it to the...
Newcastle got a great record at St James's Park, but Chelsea got a chance. Chelsea are actually a very good side now. I mean, I've watched them play here 3 or 4 times, and they're excellent. Good players. Spencer was terrific. Hughes was terrific. The only debatable issue was the man of the match. Trevor picking Eddie Newton.
Yeah, well, I suppose he was a good candidate, surely, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, I thought Dewberry was magnificent.
Yeah, I did too. But let's just have a look at that rather bizarre goal kick and the result from Ferdinand. Good header there, though, wasn't it? From,
yeah, well, he gets onto
Albert,
it quick. The first time, space in behind the defence, he gets onto it quick, does what he's good at, onto it quick, great finish. But the keeper, if he stays in his line again there...
Again, he's got 2 chances. One, to kick it over the halfway line and the game's over. Or 2, when Ferdinand gets into that attacking position, very good header. Albert knew exactly what he was doing there. Beautifully done. And he's in that position. If he stays at the angle, if he stays on his line, it's got to be a perfect shot to beat him.
He's not going to score, is he?
By coming out in that situation off his left.
It's a double mistake.
A double mistake.
Yeah. Who else stood out for you today?
As I said, I thought Hughes was magnificent up front. Yeah. He led the line well. He scored a great goal. Spencer just in behind. I thought Wise played well. I thought all the stars, were, as I said, were in blue jerseys.
Did you think Newcastle missed Gillespie out at the side at the moment?
I thought they missed Woods on the right-hand side. The number of times they attacked and had nobody wide on the right, I thought Ginola was disappointing. He might be feeling the rigours of an English winter.
Yeah. I know the Cup's an entirely different thing, and the attitude of the way teams play in the Cup, but Newcastle on that showing didn't look like with respect to them, a championship-winning team.
Well, they're formidable at St James's Park, but I've always said you win the thing away from home. In the last 3 or 4 games, they've struggled, but I think they need somebody just in front of the back 4 to protect them. And certainly, if I was Kevin Keegan, I'd think seriously about bringing Paul Ince back.
The balance of the side is not right, and I think Kevin Keegan will deal with that. Otherwise, they won't win the championship.
Remember, we've got the draw coming up for you in a moment. Let's just tell you about the score between Everton and Stockport. It was 2-2 there. Halliwell got the equaliser, the 4th round draw, and there we say good evening to David Davis.
Good evening and welcome to the home of the Football Association here at Lancaster Gate in London. And yes, coming up, the draw for the 4th round of the Littlewood-sponsored FA Challenge Cup. Joining us here in the Council Chamber, an audience predominantly of supporters representing many of the 46 teams left in the competition after the weekend's action. I can see many shirts represented here: Nottingham Forest, Millwall, West Ham, Aston Villa, Leeds, a host of others as well. Also with us, Alan Kirbishley, manager of First Division Charlton, who of course put out Sheffield Wednesday yesterday. And to make the draw, well, 2 of the most famous names in the history of English football. Surprisingly, one of them made just a single FA Cup final appearance for his beloved Preston against West Bromwich Albion. But with 30 goals in 76 England internationals over 12 years, he's a true football great. Please welcome Tom Finney. And with Tom today, a man who scored 30 goals in 33 games for England, who played and scored in 2 famous FA Cup finals in 1953 and 1958, when his second goal against Manchester United was, well, just a touch controversial. Please welcome Nat Lofthouse. Nat, I wonder, over almost 40 years, how many times have you been asked, was it a goal, was it a foul?
I wish I'd had many pounds as what I've been asked. But yes, I think it was a foul now when I look back. But I'm just glad we won 2-0, and that made the score look
Not much consolation to Manchester United, is it, after all these years? Tom, these days people say so many things have lost their magic, but to you now, as a supporter as you are, has the FA Cup lost its magic at all?
No, it hasn't indeed. I think we've only got to look at the games yesterday and today to see the great excitement, and I think there's always the adrenaline flowing, and it certainly will be now when players will be watching who they're going to be playing in the next round. It's a great occasion, and there's none like it in the world.
A great occasion. Time for the draw. Here's Graham Kelly. Graham.
Thank you very much. Well, Tom will draw the home teams, Nat will draw the away teams, So, Nat, could you put the balls into the bowl, please?
Completely empty, Tom?
I think so.
I hope so, yes, thank you.
Yes,
Give it a good turn. And Tom, will you rummage around a bit and then draw the first one?
Number 27.
Fulham or Shrewsbury Town?
Number 23.
We'll play Liverpool. Good one to start with.
3-0. 30.
30, Charlton Athletic.
Number 4.
Brentford.
Number 29.
29, Ipswich Town or Blackburn Rovers.
Number 20.
We'll play Walsall.
Number 10.
Bolton Wanderers at home.
Well done, Tom. Well done. 26.
We'll play Leeds United.
Number 3.
Queen's Park Rangers.
Number 28.
Chelsea or Newcastle United.
Number 11.
Huddersfield Town.
Number 17.
We'll play Peterborough United.
Number 12.
Number 12 is Coventry City.
Number 5.
We'll play Leicester City or Manchester City.
Number 31.
Middlesbrough.
Number 32.
We'll play Watford or Wimbledon.
Number 2.
Number 2 is Reading.
Number 22.
Manchester United or Sunderland.
Number 8.
Number 8, Stoke City or Nottingham Forest.
Number 21.
We'll play Millwall or Oxford United.
Number 14.
14 is Southampton.
Number 1.
Crewe Alexandra.
Number 9.
Number 9, Swindon Town.
Number 18.
Number 18, Barnsley or Oldham Athletic.
Number 16.
Everton or Stockport County.
Number 7.
We'll play Crystal Palace or Port Vale.
Number 19.
19, West Ham United.
Number 13.
We'll play Grimsby Town.
Number 25.
Arsenal or Sheffield United?
Number 6.
Aston Villa. And the last match of the round?
24.
Hereford United or Tottenham Hotspur?
Number 15.
Will play Birmingham City or Wolverhampton Wanderers. Well, that completes the draw. The ties will be played on the 27th, the 28th and the 29th of January.
Plenty of oohs and ahs from our audience here in the council chamber. Alan Kirbishley, Charlton against Brentford, London derby. Quick reaction.
Obviously we're pleased that we got drawn at home, and I think we'll sell out. The Valley will be 4 again, and no one at our club will be complacent about that we're playing Brentford, and we're looking forward to it.
You said before playing Sheffield Wednesday you expected to win. You expect to win this one?
Well, yeah, I think we've been playing really well this season. We're second in the NZ League, First Division, and as I say, the home draw is what we wanted, and we're looking forward to it.
Alan Kirbishley, everybody here, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you very much indeed. That's the draw.
Well, you've got that replay to negotiate and then back here again.
Well, first of all, I'd settle for being back here again. It means we've still got a big hurdle to climb with Chelsea. But we've had so many London draws in the Cups over the last 2 years, we're thinking of setting up a base down here. You know, I mean, we've got to go to Arsenal on Wednesday. But we're still in there. That's what really pleases me as manager of Newcastle.
And what's your overall assessment of what happened this afternoon?
Well, it was typical of the Cup, wasn't it? You know, the Twin Towers looked a long way away for us with about a minute to go, whatever it was, in extra time. But to be fair, the lads' first half, I thought we played very average, to be nice to the players. Second half, we battled a bit more, and we got something. Now they've got to come to our place, and, you know, we'll have the crowd behind us, and let's take it from there.
But did you think you were going out? Did you think the chance would come?
Well, it looked, I mean, I thought Philippe Albert missed one with about a minute to go or something like that, and I said to Terry, if we're going to go Wembley, it's got to be in the Coca-Cola. But at the moment, we've got a chance to go in both, and that's nice.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Well done, Kevin. Let's just take a check on the draw as we've just seen it pulled out by those famous old players. Fulham or Shrewsbury versus Liverpool. We'll have an hour and a half on that from Jimmy Hill in a moment. Charlton against Brentford, as you've heard. Ipswich or Blackburn against Walsall. Bolton against Leeds United, an all-Premiership tie there. And as you've heard, if Newcastle beat Chelsea in the replay, they'll play at Queen's Park Rangers. Let's go to the next page. You can read your own teams there for yourselves. Manchester United, if they get past Sunderland, visit Reading. Crewe at Southampton. That won't be an easy match for Southampton. Crewe in sparkling form in Division 2 at the moment. Everton have got to get past Stockport. They drew 2-2 today. They'll play Palace or Port Vale. West Ham United home to Grimsby Town. Trevor Brooking will be happy with that draw, I would have thought. Arsenal, Grimsby in form, Jimmy, yes, you're quite right. Arsenal, Sheffield United against Villa, and Birmingham or Wolves will be likely, I would have thought, to visit Tottenham, but you never know. What do you feel about that?
I think the big tie will be Shrewsbury against Liverpool, obviously.
It will be.
Yeah.
We mustn't be. We've got a big tie against Shrewsbury, which we're going to play first, and I'm superstitious, so I'm saying nothing.
Nothing? You're saying nothing?
Nothing.
Absolutely
about that tie.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the first you've heard it here. Yeah. But